There was no possibility of taking a walk that day. I say it the way I first learned the world, as a door closing. I was 10 years old, an orphan in a house that fed me and never once loved me. Gateshead Hall. My aunt, Mrs. Reed, sat by the fire with her own children around her like a warm wall, and I sat apart, small, unwanted, reading a book because books did not care whether I belonged. My cousin, John Reed, found me there. He was 14, heavy, cruel in the lazy way of boys who have never been told no. He took the book from my hands, told me it was his, told me I was a dependent, a word he used like a whip, and then he threw it. The spine struck my head. I fell, and something in me, something that had been folded very small for a very long time, stood up. I called him wicked. I called him a murderer, a slave driver. I fought back, with my hands, with my whole body, for the first time in my life. They did not see a frightened child defending herself. They saw a mad thing, and Mrs. Reed ordered me locked in the red room. The red room where my uncle had died, cold, silent, curtained in deep red, with a great mirror that showed me a strange little figure, pale, wild-eyed. And for a moment, I did not know it was me. As the light failed, I grew certain the dead were near, that my uncle's spirit might rise to pity the child no living person pitied. I screamed, I beat the door, and when they came, they thought I was performing. My aunt thrust me back inside. I fainted. That was the night I learned the first hard truth of my life. Injustice does not care whether you are innocent. It only cares whether you are powerful. And I was not. I was sick after that. And in my sickness came the only kindness Gateshead ever offered. An apothecary, Mr. Lloyd, who asked me a question no adult had asked before. Would you like to go to school? Yes. Anywhere but here. Yes. So Mrs. Reed sent for a clergyman named Mr. Brocklehurst. Tall, black, narrow as a pillar. He looked down at me and asked what he must do to keep a wicked child from the fires of hell. And my aunt, wishing to be rid of me cleanly, told him I was a liar. She said it in front of me, over my head, as if I were furniture that had offended her. I remember what I did. Before the carriage took him away, I walked up to Mrs. Reed, and I told her the truth. That I was not a liar. That if I were, I should say I loved her. But I did not. That I would never call her aunt again as long as I lived. And that people thought her a good woman, but she was bad, hard-hearted. I had never spoken like that to anyone. And the strangest thing happened. For the first time, I felt free. Speaking the truth to power did not fix my life, but it returned something to me that the Red Room had tried to take. Myself. They sent me to Lowood. Lowood Institution, a charity school for orphan girls, 40 miles from anywhere, run in Mr. Brocklehurst's name. I arrived in January cold, and I want you to understand what kind of place it was, because it shaped everything after. We were hungry. The porridge was burnt. We ate it, or we ate nothing. The rooms were freezing. In the mornings, the water in the pitchers was ice. The clothes were thin. Mr. Brocklehurst preached humility and self-denial to us, while his own wife and daughters swept through the school in velvet and curls. He ordered a girl's naturally curly hair cut off because curls were vanity. Vanity, he called it, in children who were starving. But Lowood gave me two things I had never had. It gave me a teacher who was just Miss Temple, the superintendent, calm and fair, who once, when Brocklehurst had publicly branded me a liar in front of the whole school, quietly investigated, wrote to Mr. Lloyd, and then stood before everyone and cleared my name. I have loved few people in my life the way I loved Miss Temple for that. Justice, when you have only ever known injustice, feels like being seen for the first time. And Lowood gave me Helen Burns. Helen was older, thoughtful, always in trouble for small things, untidiness, dreaminess, and always punished with a patience that astonished me. When a teacher struck her, Helen did not burn with rage the way I did. She endured. I could not understand it. I told her that if anyone struck me without cause, I would strike back, that we should resist so hard the cruel would learn to stop. And Helen looked at me and said, gently, the way you correct someone you love, that it is weak and silly to say you cannot bear what it is your fate to bear. I did not agree with her. I am not sure I ever fully agreed with her. But Helen taught me that a soul could hold peace inside a life that offered none, that there was a difference between defending your dignity and being consumed by your anger. She was the first person to tell me I was worth loving. She was the first person who was ever mine. And then the spring came, and with it, the fever. Typhus swept Lowood. The hunger, the damp, the crowding did their work, and girls sickened, and some died. The healthy were sent out into the woods, half free for the first time. But Helen was not sick with typhus. Helen had consumption, and she was dying of it slowly, quietly, in a separate room. I went to her at night. I climbed into her small bed. She was not afraid. She told me she was happy, that she was going to God, going home, going somewhere she would be neither despised nor punished. I asked her if there truly was such a place. She said yes, with a faith so steady it warmed me more than any fire at Gateshead ever had. And I held her, and I fell asleep with my arms around her. When they found us in the morning, I was asleep, and Helen Burns was dead. Her grave was unmarked for years. Later, someone set a stone there with one word on it, Resurgam, I shall rise again. The fever changed Lowood. The neglect became a scandal. New men came to run it. The food improved, the rooms warmed, the cruelty softened. I stayed 8 years, 6 as a pupil, 2 as a teacher. Miss Temple stayed too, and while she stayed, I was content. I was safe. I was useful. I had made a small, good life out of almost nothing. And then Miss Temple married and left. And the moment she was gone, I felt the walls of Lowood close in around me like the Red Room all over again. I went to the window, and I looked out at the road winding away over the hills toward everything I had never seen, and I understood that safety was not the same thing as living. I did not pray for happiness. I had learned better than to expect it. I prayed for something smaller and truer. I desired liberty, I said to the empty room, and when liberty seemed too much to hope for, then grant me at least a new servitude. A new place, new faces, a new world, even a hard one. So I did the only bold thing a poor, plain, friendless woman of 18 could do. I placed an advertisement in the paper. A young lady accustomed to tuition, that was me now, seeks a situation as governess, private household. And a letter came back. A neat hand, an older woman's hand. A housekeeper named Mrs. Fairfax, writing on behalf of a household that needed a governess for one little girl. The place was called Thornfield. I did not know, folding that letter, that I was folding the map of the rest of my life. I only knew that the road out of Lowood ran through it. I gave my notice. I packed a trunk that held everything I owned, which was not much, and on a cold October evening, I climbed into a coach and rode away from the only walls I had ever survived, toward a house I had never seen. Reader, I was afraid. I was also, for the first time since Helen died, alive. The coach carried me through the dark, and somewhere ahead, past the hills, past the last of the light, Thornfield was waiting. I thought I was going toward quiet work in a quiet house. I did not know that the quietest houses keep the loudest secrets, and that behind one locked door on the third floor, something was already waiting for me to arrive.